In recent times, we do not talk enough about emerging economies and the importance of the US dollar in the emerging economies development. The big problem for emerging economies is to find financing in hard currency, i.e. in US dollars. The level of confidence to take debt in local currency is very, very weak. But at the same time, most of the developed economies that we follow are following a very dangerous path of twin deficits, fiscal and trade deficits. When commodities were rising, emerging economies would see an important inflow of US dollars that could help them finance their twin deficits. However, when those deficits remain and at the same time commodity prices come down, exports are not enough to cover the monetary imbalances. So depreciation of the currency is something that we need to look at very much in detail because it's been going on for a while. Depreciation against the US dollar because the confidence from domestic investors and from foreign investors on the local currency diminishes as governments imprudently increase spending despite the very weak level of reserves, and at the same time the commodity cycle turns and their inflows of dollars are diminishing. So we have to look at a number of economies in this kind of risk. Brazil, that intends to massively increase spending while at the same time continue to maintain the imbalances of the previous years. Second, all of the Latin American economies that have started to look at Argentina as an example of what to do, which I find amusing in terms of monetary policy, which is to print like there's no tomorrow local currency. Think about India as well. India has an important problem with the rupee, although the budget is a lot better prepared in order to avoid large imbalances. So the risk of emerging economies' currencies and what is called the sudden stop is coming back, and we need to look at it in detail in the next programs. Money supply started to go back up again after the process of rate hikes and the reduction of small reduction of the balance sheet of some of the central banks, and started to go back up again because of the recovery in equity markets and the weakening of the US dollar. That situation has reverted. So the global money supply picture is actually one of stabilization. It looks like the world wants to accept this current rate hike path and this current normalization policy as one that is very accommodative. But at the same time, it is very evident that in any correction of markets, the dollar comes back and comes back strongly because the monetary imbalances of those countries that don't have the US dollar as their currency have actually spread and increased in the last 2.5 years, particularly in the last 3 years. So emerging markets with twin deficits, large borrowings in US dollars added to the improvement in the economy that is much weaker than what was initially expected. All of those things make the picture for the global monetary debasement much of a much bigger problem than what we were initially expecting. If we think about it, the US dollar remains the world reserve currency, not because the monetary policy of the Federal Reserve is hawkish, but because the monetary and fiscal policy of the competing currencies and their countries and their central banks is much worse. This is not a game of who wins, it's a game of who loses. And in the world of King Dollar, everybody else is losing.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. like my videos, leave your comments below, and keep defending freedom. Thank you very much.